Romeo and Juliet, Zayn in One Direction, Adolf Hitler in Life, just some of the biggest breakups in world history until Juan Soto came around and changed things. Soto, now being a Met, has been a member of 4 different teams in his career, but the biggest difference between him with his 3rd and 4th team is that he left on his own terms rather than being traded. Well, at least he picked the most calm and reasonable fan base to leave. No problems there.
But what a way. You're right. It's terrible.
Juan Soto's return to the Bronx, now as a member of the other New York team, was for sure marked on a lot of people's calendars. You don't even have to be a fan of these teams to look forward to this. Yankees fans would boo Jesus if he was on their team and struck out one time, so you can only imagine what they'll do for one of the best players in baseball who just left their team to sign with their crosstown rivals for the biggest contract ever, who's now returning with that new team.
This is where the fun begins.
The fans were ready, so the Mets come to the Bronx in a weekend full of rivalries being played, whether it's teams from the same city or some sort of historic rivalry, and Juan Soto gets booed to hell and back as he walks up to the plate but tips his cap while it happens. And unless you're Helen Keller, you're going to be reading the room here, and that includes Carlos Rodon, who wanted nothing to do with giving up a home run to Soto in this moment. That would have been very awkward, so he just gives him nothing to hit. I mean, there were a couple close pitches, but he walked Soto on 5 pitches, and he must have stayed in Rodon's head because what the hell is this? How does this happen? I just don't know how you screw this up. Bro is halfway to second. Yeah, let me throw to first. Someone check if there's any Kellers in the Rodon family lineage. Mets don't end up scoring here, so out goes Soto to right field, where Yankees fans and the bleacher creatures acted like a dad who just found out his daughter is an OnlyFans. The full-on "we don't even want to look at you, we're so ashamed" treatment. They all turn their backs, and nobody scores until the bottom of the 3rd, when the man who would be your local high school history teacher if he wasn't good at baseball drives home too. You cannot tell me Paul Goldschmidt doesn't look like that, but credit to him, he's back to being one of the best hitters in baseball this year. He scores on a sac fly, 3-0 Yankees. Tyler McGill then walks the 3rd hitter of the inning before walking his 4th hitter of the inning. A run gets walked in. Things are getting out of hand before the inning ends, and up comes Soto again to walk again. It was a much more competitive at-bat this time, though. 8 pitches go by. This fan is reminding everyone of what must be done by something that looks like it was made by his child during kindergarten arts and crafts. The Mets broadcast was very impressed.
Okay. I hope you feel better, sir.
Outstanding arts and crafts.
Yes.
What font did he use?
Rodon can't get him out, though. He walks and then scores the Mets' first run on a base hit by Brandon Nimmo, but that was all, and the Yankees just kept dominating this game. In a moment as shocking as The Rock being in another action movie, Aaron Judge gets a base hit. The highest player in baseball then gets a double. Then the man who would be your local high school history teacher if he wasn't good at baseball drives home another. It's 5-1. Another comes on a failed double play attempt, and in a moment as shocking as Elon Musk getting someone pregnant, Juan Soto walks. Again, this time in another 8-pitch at-bat, though, Rodon just cannot get Soto out. Ball 4. And to add to the irony of this game, a lot of people facing their old enemies and demons, in comes Devin Williams to face off against the very team that broke him now with his new team. And the first man he faces, Pete Alonso, the one who took him deep for that 3-run home run. He strikes him out on 4 pitches like he's nothing. Yeah, this is probably the worst outcome that could have happened for Brewers fans. And Devin was locked in. Mark Vientos, sit down. Brandon Nimmo, another guy who got a hit in that playoff rally, strikeout. Maybe he's fixed now. Maybe that's what it took, facing and dominating the Mets. As if this game couldn't be ironic enough, Juan Soto ends up being the final hitter. With runners on 2nd and 3rd, he pops out. Ball game. And then he strikes out his first time up in game 2 while the fans act like they just won the World Series. Before the man who would be your local high school history teacher if he wasn't good at baseball hits his first home run of the year. And yes, this is not the same history teacher from before. It's DJ LeMahieu, but you know, same vibe. Yankees tend to come up with a lot of these guys, I guess. Francisco Lindor walks on 4 pitches to lead off the 4th inning. Soto comes up, takes a ball, says, screw this, no more balls. I'm tired of seeing everyone's balls. So he drives the next pitch he sees in a right field for a base hit. 2 pitches later, Pete Alonso smacks a base hit. Tie game. Juan Soto is starting to become this stolen base threat. All of a sudden, he walked to 2nd the night before. Now he steals 3rd and scores on a sac fly. Soto had 3 stolen bases this season. Before going back to the Bronx, he's got 2 steals now in this series alone. Soto looks at a bunch of balls again in his next at-bat for yet another walk. I think the Yankees' game plan here to Soto is to basically do anything but give up a home run. Schmidt was all about showing off his balls in this game, though. 5 walks, then the highest player in baseball pops a home run to tie it, and then it became a trend to get thrown out at home for some reason. After 2 singles for the Yankees, Jason Dominguez gets thrown out at the plate. Then with a man on, Tyrone Taylor doubles, and a ball that Dominguez in left fails to get in his glove twice somehow falls into a perfect relay to nail Brett Beatty out at home. Soto strolls up to face yet another guy who looks like he'd be your local high school history teacher if he wasn't good at baseball. Yes, this is a completely different guy than the first two guys already mentioned. The Yankees are fielding an entire AP US history department at this point. Tim Hill is also a cancer survivor, so shout out to him. He gets Soto to fly out. The history teachers remain dominating this series, but Fernando Cruz was not having it. Walk, base hit, then he hits Taylor to set up a sac fly for Francisco Lindor. Mets have the lead. In comes Edwin Diaz to go for the save. Austin Wells goes down. Sid from Toy Story lines a soft little ball to Beatty at third. And it all comes down to Aaron Judge. And this game ends in the most fitting way. 3-2 count. Diaz says, you know what, I'm going to give it my all. Try and hit this. He rears back 98 miles an hour high. Judge goes down swinging. Ball game. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Love you. Bye.